Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. Hope you're all having a great summer. If you could, would you please rise so we can do the Pledge of Allegiance?
I would say on a weekend night would probably be the best. A weekend night.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Thank you. Okay, I see a couple of new faces here tonight. We have some visitors. If the folks back here would stand up and identify yourselves and let us know why you came to join us tonight, we appreciate it. Yes, sir. Put you on the spot.
Hi, my name is Meyer. We applied for the Bylaws, and today we applied for a ride along.
Okay.
So maybe tomorrow we're going to take a ride and
very good. Excellent. Thank you very much. Excellent. Excellent. Okay. There's been... Make sure you sign in on the back before you leave so we know who you are, that you were here. Please. We appreciate that. There's been some question as to, on the agenda, why it says 18:30 to 20:30, when meetings always used to be only an hour. Well, I intend them only to be an hour. But to make sure we had the chambers where they wouldn't chase us out in case we had a speaker or in case we got involved in a discussion that ran over, I want to make sure we had the room available to us. That's the only reason I put up there a 2-hour block. I only intend to keep the meetings to an hour as usual, okay? Is there any non-agenda related items to come up before the membership before we move on and open the meeting? No? Okay. And then I will call the meeting to order. And I have 6:32 p.m. The June minutes were put on the website, I do believe. So hopefully you had a chance to review them. If you had and you have any questions or issues, please let us know now. Otherwise, we'll move on. Okay, thank you. We will have a update from the District 2, I believe, Police Department tonight.
Correct.
Sarge?
Hi, how's everybody doing? My name is Patrick Sacker. I'm a sergeant from the Police Department. I'm currently assigned to the Special Enforcement Team. In a nutshell, my group is the problem-solving group. We don't really work patrol. We kind of deal with problem areas, problem people, sexual predators. If we have a problem with burglaries or robberies or anything in that certain area, it's my team that is assigned to prevent that problem from reoccurring. We're the guys that are out there in all the unmarked cars. I mean, I got a Ford Escape, which, it's a car, I guess, but all those Magnums and all those other unmarked cars, that's my guys' groups. But anyways, I've been called here today because our district commanders are engaged in other meetings right now, and since I'm kind of their second or right-hand man in the patrol division, I'm here to present with you some of the issues that we've had, particularly in District 2. Over the last month, the problems that we've been having has been the vehicle burglaries, but it's pretty much been isolated to the Salford area, which is I don't know if you guys are aware of our grids, but it's like 8109, 8209. So crime all in all has been down. We just had our UCR stats in a supervisors meeting the other day, and everything is down significantly. The only other problem we've had recently is we're assuming it's a bunch of kids that are tagging a lot of street signs and houses and cars in the area of Chamberlain and Price. We may have identified some suspects in that, but that's something that's of recent. Oh, sure. Can everybody hear me better? I apologize. Did everybody hear everything I said it already?
Yep.
I usually speak kind of loud. Okay. Okay, I apologize for that. But one thing I did want to bring up is I'm very in tune to what Neighborhood Watch does. As a matter of fact, with my team, and I don't know if you guys are familiar who Sergeant Fred Myers is, he's also a supervisor in the Special Enforcement Team, and he handles in District 1, where I work in District 2. And some of our conversations that me and the other sergeants had with this unit, because it is a newly formed unit, we've been in operation for about 4 months now. And we're not fully staffed in that unit. It'll probably take us about another 6 months to get staffed because we need to get hired more people. But utilize the Neighborhood Watch as a very important asset to what we do. Even though we have unmarked cars, we're still wearing uniforms. You people out there are a good resource for the police department. I mean, it's a very important resource. One thing you're going to have to understand is probably 90% of the stuff that you may report to us, there's probably nothing much we can do, but that intel is still good. And I can tell you from the past, I've been a patrol I was a patrol supervisor for almost 10 years. I've been in the shop for 25 years. We have had a numerous amount of instances in the past where Neighborhood Watch helped us out tremendously. It may not have been directly related to what they thought was going on, but just because they seen something suspicious and we got units going that way, we find that this suspicious vehicle or the suspicious incident was linked to something more important that we were working already, and we're able to solve that case. Not just one, probably numerous cases where you guys have tremendously helped us in the past. Now, I've been kind of out of the loop because I do a lot of training. I'm our firearms instructor, our taser instructor, and I've been doing a lot of instructing, so I've been out of that loop for some time. I'm back in this loop. So I encourage you guys to keep doing the work you're doing. It's fantastic. And one thing that from the past with people in Neighborhood Watch is sometimes I think people get a little too hesitant on calling because they see something that maybe not look right, but you know, maybe it's a gut feeling or whatever it is, and they're just thinking, well, I don't want to waste the PD's time. You know what? A call to the PD, it's not a waste of our time. You know, we're here to get paid to work 12 hours, and if we're not actively on an event, it doesn't hurt to come check it out anyways because you just never know. I mean, even us as police officers, sometimes we'll see something and that gut feeling just kicks in, and we're like, you know, I'm just going to see what's going on. Next thing we know, we just solved a major case because this person just committed a major crime or something. So just please keep up the good work you guys are doing. Don't hesitate to call the police because you are our eyes and ears out there. It's an extremely important asset to the police department. So please, just keep doing what you're doing. And I know as of recently, a lot of things have been getting restructured, and I think it's everything that, from what I've seen, is going toward definitely to the positive. I mean, you guys should be proud of what you guys are doing for the community. And I thank you guys for that. And I really don't have anything else to share because our UCRs have been down. And I have a feeling I'll probably be doing this more often because our lieutenants now are having set schedules and they may not be able to attend as frequently, but I'm always working this time. So hopefully I'll be able to keep you guys updated in the future. And somehow I can get with your board and, you know, try to build more of a nexus between your group and our agency, because that's what my plan is, and Sergeant Myers, because we're pretty much going to be responsible for everything that happens in the city outside of regular patrol functions, and that's going to include you guys, okay? Any questions for me?
Yeah.
Yes.
You mentioned Price and Chamberlain. What's going on there?
What they're doing is we got kids tagging. I'm sorry, sometimes they use terms that maybe not everybody will be familiar with. They're spray painting, defacing signs. We know it's a group of juveniles, but we think that these are happening late at night, which I'm assuming most people in here when they're doing their patrolling is probably not going to be much past 10 o'clock. I mean, I know if I was, when I'm off on my days off, I'm in bed by 10 o'clock. So they're probably occurring way into the midnight hours, maybe between 1 and 4. But then again, it could be happening early, because what the problem with our patrol guys is, at night, you don't necessarily see the graffiti on the back of a stop sign or on a sign as you're just driving by at night. And then also the daylight comes, and that's when we're discovering it. So some of it could be happening earlier than we anticipate. But yeah, did that answer your question?
Is that north or south there?
Most of it's occurring just south of Price on Chamberlain, but we're having some incidents that we think are going to be related just north of Chamberlain. We think there are kids because it's within like a half-mile square radius, so they're obviously just on foot roaming the neighborhoods. And we do have what we call undesirable juveniles that live right in that area, so we pretty much know who it is, just catching them doing it. So if you're out in your patrol and you see some kids just lingering around those stop signs, or just like watching cars looking for police, just call it in. What we do is we'll get dispatches what we call suspicious persons call, and we'll just go out and at least identify them, what we call FI, field interview with them, and at least get some names, including people that are in that area. Okay. And is there anything else from me while I'm here that I can help facilitate what you're doing, or any unanswered questions on what you guys are doing when it comes to what we would expect or what we may help us out? Especially the board, I guess, would be a better person to ask for that.
Well, I'm going to speak openly. What our members, what our patrollers are hungry for is more real-time information when these types of things happen, as opposed to waiting. Here we are in August. We don't think it behooves anybody, the city or us, to hear about things that happen in July. If there were a way to set up some kind of communication tool where, we could get things in a more timely manner, then maybe we could react and be more of a real-time assistance in specific cases where you think extra eyes and ears are really, really critical to that particular situation. If you could work on something like that for us, we would be really appreciative.
Yeah, and that's actually an excellent point. Do you guys have a liaison that deals directly with the police department?
I right now, the watch manager normally is the one that deals with chief and with the two watch commanders whenever the need arises.
Yeah, I'll get with my lieutenant. Maybe it could be something as easy as, hey, listen, here's an email to you in reference to some of these instances that are going on, at least maybe through it via email.
And then we could share, I could share it with the block
captains. Yeah, I mean, it does make sense.
In the
You
area.
know, there's kind of a protocol right now for most of the things as it goes from a problem just to my unit.
Right.
But at the same time, you know, it doesn't, the more eyes and ears we have out there, it only helps my team, you know, out with this stuff too.
Because sometimes, I mean, it may be happening in an area, we don't have any patrollers right now, but we put a word out and folks will come in from the other district and come in to help if we need it. So if we know something's going on, we'll do the best to respond to that situation.
I did notice one other thing. Do you guys all have the placards on the side of the cars?
We are supposed to. That's what's one of our bylaw requirements, that we are in uniform, clearly identified when we're out on patrol.
Well, that does absolutely make sense. I was just wondering. I mean, it's in a way, it's definitely, I guess, it has more positives than negatives. But because even so, if you're a bad guy out on the streets, especially if it's after daylight, they don't see those things anyway. They know what our police headlights look like, and that's really what they're looking for before they start ducking out. Yeah. Here's another thing I see a lot of that you guys do call in: open garage doors. You know, and a lot of these houses that you guys are calling, those are abandoned houses. And what we're finding is a lot of these abandoned houses, people are going and living in them. And then sometimes they forget to put a garage door down. And then we discovered, because of a call coming from you guys with an open garage door, we got squatters in this house. You know, it's just the little things like that, you know. Or, and in one case, it was an open garage door, but there was people there, but they didn't realize they left their garage door open, and they thanked us for letting them know that their garage door was open so somebody can come by in the middle of the night and steal their stuff. You know, it's those little tiny things that could result in a lot more. I'll give you another example. This wasn't called in by Neighborhood Watch, but it just as easily could have been. Garage door open. One of my guys sees it. Garage door open in an abandoned house. So, of course, he's just going to take a look around the house, looks in, he finds some TVs and some other electronic equipment. Well, all that stuff came from a burglary, and they were just storing it there for now. That could have very easily come in from one of your guys' calls with an open garage door. Just the little things. You just never know. Matter of fact, in my career, it seems like it's those little things which, I'm sorry, I'm listening to the radio too, we got some stuff going on, will result in actually solving an extremely high-profile case. So call in anything. Don't ever feel like you're burdening the police department, because I'll be honest with you, you're not. And if some guy feels like he's being burdened, well, it's just because he doesn't want to work, and you know, and a supervisor, we don't have tolerance for that anyway. It is. I mean, it's going to be like that in every profession. But yeah. All right. Well, unless anybody else has any more questions for me, I'm going to get back on the streets and do my thing. And thank you again, everybody, for what you guys are doing. We do appreciate it. Police Department really does appreciate it.
Thanks, Sergeant.
I think I had it off anyway, didn't I? I'm not a public speaker.
Thanks, guys. Okay. Next item on the agenda is a financial report. It was published on the web, so you should have seen it.
Yeah, it's in the newsletter, which went out this afternoon, so if you haven't seen it yet, it's waiting for you when you get home. It's came out by email.
Okay.
We had no income or revenue last month. We did pay for our D&O insurance policy. Annually, it's $753. And that leaves us with a cash balance in the bank of $1,379.24.
Any questions?
Yeah. The insurance policy that you mentioned, the premium that you pay, does that cover us, members, if we should have an accident or incident?
That policy specifically doesn't. It's what's called directors and officers insurance. That prevents or protects the members of the board of directors from being sued as representatives of the organization. Well,
suppose I'm in an accident while I'm patrolling.
Your insurance policy should cover that.
My insurance policy.
Your auto insurance.
not the organization.
No.
Okay.
Correct. And then as far as, a member's individual liability from being sued, there are federal and state statutes in Florida and nationally that were written specifically to protect volunteers doing volunteer work for a charitable volunteer organization from being personally liable. As long as you're not grossly negligent in what you did, you are protected by those laws from being sued.
That's good news.
And our website has documentation on both of those statutes.
Thank you.
Anything else? Okay, Steve's not here, so I guess we're not going to have a media liaison report tonight. So we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, which is a review and if necessary discussion of the proposed bylaw revisions. Rick Amos is going to just give us a little overview as to what the committee did.
Stand up front so everybody doesn't have to turn around.
And would you use one of the mics, please, Rich, so we can get it recorded? Thank you, sir.
Good evening, everybody. I want to remind you that next month we're going to have an election, and under the current bylaws, we're only going to be voting on one position. That would be the watch manager, as the neighborhood watch is set up at this point in time. But myself, Paul Neineber, Rita Philbrick, and Marty Murphy formed the Bylaws Review Committee, and it's been suggested by other members also to make some changes in the structure of the organization. The main thing is to separate the administrative position or the administrative responsibilities from the watch manager position and separate that from the actual day-to-day hands-on operation part of it. And we have come up with new bylaws that we have presented to the Board of Directors, and it's my understanding the Board of Directors has reviewed that, and they are going to submit them tonight. It's my understanding that they have approved it, and they suggest that we change to those new bylaws. The bylaws will effectively add 2 new board positions. They're non-officer positions. They're open to any member in good standing. And it changes the title of the watch manager to operations coordinator. And then it gives a board position title of executive director. And we believe that it's in the best interest of the watch to move forward with these changes for the future of the watch. One of the main reasons is because we've had very few people step up to take leadership positions in the watch. And we hopefully believe that this will change that to some extent, because the watch manager position has too much responsibility. Some people would like to be in the actual hands-on day-to-day operation, but don't want to be burdened with the administrative part of it. So this separates those two, and basically I think it gives us a better opportunity to bring in some other people to help out in the administration portion. So that's basically it, and in a short summary anyway. And I think that Rita's going to expand on this to some extent, and how this is going to work as far as the election coming up next month, because we're going to vote on this, on the bylaws changes next month, prior to voting on the open position. And what will happen is if we approve the bylaws, the bylaw changes next month, we will actually be voting on 3 positions, I believe.
The election process that will happen in September, the position that will be voted on will still be the one.
One position, but it will not be the watch manager position.
It will be the operations coordinator.
What about the 2 other board positions that
Those
come open?
board member positions are not coming for election this year. They will happen next
So
year.
you will not be adding them, or would you?
They will be
adding
appointed
them
by the
appointment?
board. They will be appointed at
Okay.
leisure of the board.
Okay. That's basically what I was thinking, that you're going to have that detail.
Well,
Okay.
the way the bylaws are written, though, those non-director positions, non-officer positions, the two new ones,
Right.
were to be elected in even calendar years. So if they're not elected now, it wouldn't be until 2014 that it would come up again.
Okay.
Well, in any case,
In
both
the bylaws.
changes have been posted on the website. Hopefully you have looked at them and read them. And if you haven't, I encourage you to do that because we will be voting on that next month. Thank you.
Thanks, Rick. Russell?
Will we be able to vote for those online? Because we could probably get a better representation of the membership than, than based on just attending that meeting in September.
I'd like to answer
Just
that.
a thought.
There's not going to be a voting online. There is, as per the bylaws, you can send in your vote, if you choose, in a sealed envelope to me, and I will then bring it to the meeting, and it'll be counted just as all of the other votes would be counted here. That's for the election for an officer. To vote on the bylaws, no, that's not a vote. It's a simple consensus. It's not going to be, yay or nay on that. It's going to be a consensus of the people that are at the meeting or sending in any kind of suggestions. They've been published, and I've not heard any questions from anybody on the bylaws. Has everybody reviewed them? Has everybody looked at them? Are there any questions about them? Nobody. If you've not reviewed them, you've got, all of the month of August to do so. And we encourage questions. We encourage, why is it? Go ahead, Keith. Yes.
I did review it a little bit, and I'm just curious why the change.
I just explained it.
No, I meant, when I was looking at it, I was seeing president was going to be in there.
But that's required by law because